The purpose of this program is to provide basic instruction in the proper and safe operation of Landoll's 330 series semi-trailers. To obtain a complete understanding of operational and safety issues, all drivers and operators are required to thoroughly read the operator's manual. Landoll 330 series trailers utilize a traveling axle undercarriage, tilt bed, and winch to facilitate loading and unloading. Operation of the trailer in a manner other than as specified by this program and the operator's manual could result in costly damage to the trailer, personal injury, or death. Drivers are strongly encouraged to follow all industry-recommended procedures and safety practices during all phases of truck and trailer operation. Before hookup, it is important to do a complete walk-around inspection of the trailer. Look for oil leaks and hanging wires or hoses. Check the tires for proper inflation and excessive wear. Check the oil in the hubs and look for structural damage to the trailer. After coupling, check the following: hydraulic and air hose connections, air and ABS brake systems for proper operation. Check the running and signal lights along with the rear impact guard. Make sure the trailer's undercarriage is fully back in transport position. Inspect the winch and cable system to ensure safe operation. Also, make sure the landing gear are raised and secured in transport position. Operators will need to verify that all equipment necessary for securing loads are on the truck or in the trailer's toolbox. Safety is your first concern during all phases of trailer operation. Do not load any payload that will overload any component of the semi-trailer or result in an unsafe condition. To load a single 20 or 40-foot container, back the trailer within a foot or two of the container, aligning the trailer with the container. It is important that the truck and trailer are parked in a straight line on a solid, level surface. Set the truck's parking brake and release the trailer brakes prior to putting the trailer in load position. Set the trailer's front container stops at 38 feet. This will allow a 40-foot container to overhang the approach plate by 2 feet. If you are loading a single 20-foot container, there are no load stops to set, but you should allow for a 2-foot overhang. Hydraulic control levers located on the trailer's control panel are used to move the undercarriage, raise the bed, and winch control. If the trailer is equipped with an optional self-contained engine package, start and warm up the engine before engaging the hydraulic controls. If your trailer is equipped with an optional work zone warning strobe, there is an on-off switch located on the control panel. Put the strobe switch in the on position and do a walk-around of the work zone before beginning trailer operations. Remove any objects that can interfere with safe trailer operations and make sure that other individuals are well clear of the loading zone. Some trailers may also be equipped with a dual hand control system. This safety system requires the operator to have 2 hands on the controls when operating the trailer's hydraulics. This prevents injury by keeping an otherwise free hand out of harm's way. To put the trailer in load position, alternate between moving the undercarriage forward and raising the front of the trailer bed until the undercarriage is fully forward and the approach plate makes light contact with or is just above the ground. To achieve the lowest possible load angle, the undercarriage must be fully forward. With the trailer bed in load position, back the trailer until the leading edge of the approach plate slides under the container. If you are unable to slide under the container, pull the trailer forward approximately 1 foot and attach the Landoll bridle to the container. Then let out the winch cable and attach the cable hook to the center of the bridle. Reel in the winch cable just enough to remove slack and then lower the trailer bed. Lowering the bed will raise the front of the container and allow you to place a block on both sides of the container. Now raise the bed until the approach plate is about an inch off the ground. Then back the trailer until the container rests firmly on the approach plate and remove the support blocks. Now decrease the angle between the container and the trailer deck by lowering the front of the trailer until the approach plate is approximately 16 inches off the ground. Important: you are now ready to load. However, rather than pull the container onto the trailer will be pulled under the container. This will eliminate heavy scuffing and scratch marks to paved parking areas. To proceed, first release the truck brakes and then activate the winch control, cautiously pulling the trailer under the container. Alternate between pulling the container on and tilting the trailer bed to keep the angle of the trailer just slightly steeper than the container. Make sure the container is pulled snug against the front stops and the container overhangs the approach plate by 2 feet. Leave the winch cable attached to the container and reset the truck brakes. It is important that the load is centered side to side and positioned to the front of the trailer deck with the load center of gravity ahead of the trailer axles. At this point, it's time to put the loaded trailer into transport position. During this process, it is critical that you control the trailer's center of gravity. Warning: the load center of gravity must be forward of the rear axle whenever the approach plate is not in contact with the ground. Failure to do so can cause the front of the trailer to suddenly rise up and pull the tractor's rear axles off the ground, creating a very unstable and dangerous situation that could result in severe injury or death. If the container's center of gravity is not ahead of the rear axle, alternate between raising the trailer deck and moving the undercarriage towards the rear. Caution: do not allow the approach plate to leave the ground when moving the axles towards the rear, and do not let the trailer's rear axle leave the ground when raising the bed. Keep the weight of the load distributed between the approach plate and trailer wheels. Once the load's center of gravity is in front of the trailer axles, you can slowly lower the trailer deck. When the deck is fully lowered, move the undercarriage all the way to the rear. Now secure the load to the trailer. Double check to make sure all straps and fasteners are secure. Before entering the tractor cab, turn off the optional work zone warning light and shut down the self-contained hydraulic power source. Caution: do not run the truck engine above 1100 RPM when loading or unloading. Higher RPMs can cause the hydraulic oil to overheat and could damage the truck and trailer's hydraulic system. A self-contained engine package may be operated at full throttle. Before unloading, position the tractor and trailer in a straight line on a solid, level surface. Set the truck's parking brake and release the trailer brakes before exiting the cab. To unload a 40-foot container, place the winch in freewheel but leave all securing devices attached. Then activate the axle control lever and move the undercarriage forward 5 to 8 feet. To ensure that the trailer does not rock back and raise the truck's rear axles off the ground, keep the undercarriage behind the loaded trailer's center of gravity. Alternate between raising the front of the trailer and pulling the axles forward until the rear of the container makes solid contact with the ground. Now, remove all straps and securing devices. To unload, pull the trailer forward until the container slides off and is clear of the approach plate. Disconnect the winch cable and store the connector bridle. To unload a single 20-foot container positioned at the rear of the trailer, put the winch in freewheel and pull the undercarriage forward 5 to 8 feet. Then raise the trailer bed until the rear of the container makes firm contact with the ground. Now alternate between pulling the axles forward and lowering the trailer bed. Make sure the end of the container is firmly on the ground and then remove all securing devices. Unload by pulling the trailer forward until the container slides off and is clear of the approach plate. Disconnect the winch cable and store the connector bridle. If the container does not slide off the trailer as you pull forward, stop and raise the trailer bed and pull the trailer forward again. Stop when the load is well clear of the trailer. Now put the trailer into transport position by lowering the deck and moving the axles to the rear as far as they will go. When parking a trailer, make sure the undercarriage is not forward of transport position. To provide DOT-approved underride protection, the undercarriage needs to be back as far as it will go with the undercarriage fully against the stops. Drivers, you are responsible for your safety and the safety of others when operating the trailer. As you go about your job, be aware of potential problems and do your best to avoid them. Accidents happen without notice. Always think safety.